In conclusion, I don't know how many hours of video I've created for this. It's a lot of hours. It's a couple of dozen at least, maybe 3 dozen. The conclusion is I, in DHI, I've got the lesser certifications, and to become an AOC, you've got the AHC, the CDC, and the EHC, and I've decided I'll tackle the EHC first because I'll probably find that the most difficult. And last year I was signed up for EHC 400. And I put in 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, on average 5 hours a week of just study. Then ALOA, by that time I started the EHC, I was done with ALOA. I had everything I just went over in the prior chapter. Accomplished the ICPL, I'm done. No need to go back to locksmithing anymore. So I started on my 3 big ones. And then ALOA announced this new credential called the AMKS, the Advanced Master Keying Specialist, and I thought, nah, I'm done. I don't have to do that. I'm done. And then I looked at the prospectus or the outline of the class and I realized what was going to be taught represented substantial gaps in my actual knowledge over the science of master keying. You are not going to be a advanced level master keying person by just becoming a CRL or a CPL. It's not going to happen. You will, but you are not going to be able to bring in some of the more arcane or obscure techniques. And I realized at that point that if I can talk the talk, I better be able to walk the walk. And I thought, yeah, taking the AMKS is going to either prove that I can walk the walk or I can't. So I decided to pause EHC study, signed up for AMKS. It was 8 weeks, twice a week, Mondays and Thursdays, 1 hour, 7 to 8 Eastern time. It always went longer. For me personally, there was always 3, 4, 5 hours of homework every week. I imagine some people did it faster. I know some people took a lot longer to get it done. And Ralph Selber, CML, Ralph Forrestball, CML, and Lloyd Selber were the 2 teachers, extremely gifted people. And I really enjoyed it because it was topics, it was advanced master keying topics and basic ones as well. But the advanced stuff, you're just never going to be taught. And you're learning from people who just do it all the time. Lloyd worked at Schlage for many, many years in the master key department. I don't know if he ran it or if he managed it or if he was just a cog in a wheel, but I'm pretty sure he was running it. He's so brilliant that it's stunning. Ralph is he has a master's in mathematics. He was a high school math teacher. He left the education world to come to locksmithing. Had a lock shop on the Pacific Coast. His approach with his mathematical training allows him to see the science in terms of how locksmithing is expressed mathematically. So he can look at standard progression format, and his mind, I imagine, would dissect it in ways that other people's can't because of his mathematics background. And he was able to exercise his mind on what we were working on in very novel, ingenious ways to be able to say, well, here's actually what it is. Because, his approach is not from an outsider's perspective. He's a certified master locksmith. But that mathematics training is one that locksmiths probably generally don't bring to, their locksmithing world. So I decided to take the class. The amount of homework for working a very full-time job, taking classes 2 nights a week, having lots of work to do on the weekends just to stay caught up. I found it. I had to really make an effort to shoehorn it in half of the time for sure. 1 or 2 weeks, no problem. I got it done really easy, quickly. So it was a demand, but I'll tell you that Zoom format, because it was a Zoom, 1 hour twice a week worked really well. I did tell someone at DHI that I thought that approach and platform was really good. Rather than taking AHC 220 for 3 days straight for 8 hours a day, break it up in the sense of let's just digest this piece. Let's do this piece. Here's a bunch of homework on the weekend, but digestible. You can do it. Let's spread it out over 8 or 12 weeks. And let that breathe more. I think that longer footprint, that wider footprint, will have a better long-term residual impact on your memory when trying to learn it. That's all my opinion. DHI has been doing it their way forever, and obviously no reason to change. So it's exciting to work within the world of DHI. I'm just going to refer to my chapter. The demand is so great for your expertise, you can likely live in any state you would like, just like DHI. The same is true for Aloha. You can, if you have these skills, you can probably work anywhere you want. The responsibility is too great if cylinders are pinned incorrectly. And that's why we learn as much as we can about locksmithing. You're literally taking ownership of there being a problem. Learning a solid level of skill within this realm of locksmithing will definitely lead to more sales. As Dawn Chandler, Secretary Extraordinaire for Aloha, once said, the more you learn, the more you earn. Can you learn these fundamentals? Everything we've talked about? Sure you can. Should you? Depends on the corporate environment you work in and your personal level of commitment to get it right. Remember, there are people who do nothing but locksmithing for their entire careers, and perhaps it's best to leave it to them. But if you are in the door and hardware industry, you already possess the moxie. You already have the drive and determination to survive. Why not dive in? Special thanks to Lloyd Selber, CML, Ralph Forrest Ball, CML, who were the teachers of the class. That really proves as not necessarily the outline of this primer, but it was definitely the columns on which I went through all of the chapters of that class and said, here's what the door frame and hardware distributor needs to know. Much of what we went through is not at all involved, and I've said it's advanced locksmithing. Pass. You don't need to know that. At least I don't believe you do. So thanks to them for being generous, gifted, and patient instructors. Thanks to Jerome Andrews, CML, Billy Edwards Jr., CML, for being expert, poignant authors. I've referred to their work several times in this primer, and I have referred to them several times in my work life. You have reference books on your desk, whether it be Life Safety Code or it be A117 or it be NFPA 80. Those books stand right on that same shelf with those documents. So there is below this, if you were to scroll further down, a PS. Yeah, I'll leave that to you to read. There is an asterisk. I think I needed to clarify something I may have said backwards. And then a double asterisk, something else. You can read that. And then I have listed here a number of the books that are in my locksmithing library. I had intended to take pictures of the covers and link them. I just didn't get to it, and I've grown too lazy to do that. I may do that at some point in the future. So if you see this document and there are links to those covers of the book so you know what it looks like, then I've done it. If not, then I've not done it, or maybe partially have done it. Sincerely, if there are any questions that I can help answer, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm Rich Howard, Institutional Certified Professional Locksmith, and thank you for getting through this.